Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. So I think we can all agree it's been a pretty damn weird NBA season, guys. Just for so many different reasons, with all the protocols going on, but really just like teams coming out of nowhere and, free agent signings that we thought were not going to be like the greatest end up being like just so amazing, right? So for today's video, we got this Bleacher Report article titled Ranking the NBA's 10 Biggest Surprises Halfway Through the 2021-2022 NBA Season. Now, you guys let me know in the comment section below. What's like the biggest mind-blowing surprise that you think represents this NBA season? For me personally, I had no idea the Pistons were going to get Bol. Like, that shit was just completely off the radar. Maybe not the biggest surprise, but it did surprise me, man, at least when it comes to my favorite basketball team. So let's go ahead and get going on these and see what it's all about. Starting with number 10, the blast from the past. So it says, on surprise factor alone, this blows everything out of the water. There isn't a bingo card in the universe or any other that had all these familiar faces returning like ghosts of NBA past to help cover up COVID-related absences. Yeah, I will say when it comes down to it, like, some of these dudes been actually playing some good basketball, too. Like, Lance Stevenson has been nice for the Indiana Pacers. And, like, the best way I could put this about why it doesn't totally surprise me, not only that all these guys are playing, but also that all these guys are playing good, is because you got to think about it like this. A lot of people that are signing these 10-day contracts, these are players that would never even sniff an NBA roster. And, like, I'm sorry to say, that's just how it is, and let alone getting playing time. So when you have the NBA rosters made up of those type of players, but then you bring in a Lance Stevenson or a Greg Monroe or even a Joe Johnson, guys that have been former, like, really good NBA players. I mean, I don't want to say Joe Johnson was an all-star, but I don't think Lance Stevens ever made an all-star team. Greg Monroe was solid for the Detroit Pistons and stuff, but, like, it makes sense that these guys playing against actual 10-day contract players are still going to ball them out because they just have that skill set that never leaves them. Now, you put Lance Stevenson, Greg Monroe in a completely healthy NBA where everybody's good, then yeah, they're not going to shine as much because they're not as good compared to those guys anymore, but they're going to ball out against the 10-day contract players. So I'm not too surprised by it. And really it being 2022 over the course of the past 2 years, I ain't surprised by anything anymore, really, man. So yeah, this one, good ranking for number 10 though. Like, it's not the most surprising thing, but I think it deserves to maybe be on the list. All right, next up we have Jonas Valanciunas finding a 3-ball at the age of 29. Also, yeah, I mean, right here, like, this is the first thing that came to my mind. You guys can see that, Brook Lopez. That is the thing that I, first thought of. If I remember correctly, like, Jonas Valanciunas, when he was on the Raptors, he's always been, like, a solid, like, offensive player. And, I mean, I always go back to this story, man. A few years ago when I got to play basketball with Big Ben Wallace at the Little Caesars Arena. And, like, he was also just kind of, like, shooting around. He was splashing, like, 10 threes in a row, man. Like, all these NBA players, they can shoot better than you or I. It's just, in years past, it was optimal to do so. But, like, if you're given that free reign, especially in a new type of offense, no longer being on Memphis and being, on a team like the Pelicans where you need to be able to shoot that three-point shot. Yeah, I mean, I think all these guys can shoot is what I'm trying to say, man. So, yeah, I'm not completely surprised by that one either. Maybe I'm being boring. He is shooting 43%. That is actually pretty crazy, though. That is pretty crazy to have that big of a jump up. All right, next up we have Golden State's rapid rise back to the top. Man, I'll sound like a broken record, man. Once again, if you're surprised by this, shame on you. Y'all knew what we were getting to this NBA season with the Warriors. I said already, man, this team was going to win the NBA championship. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's still my prediction before the season started. Like, Jordan Poole is already looking pretty damn good last season. Wiggins is a great fit. We know we're going to get out of Steph Curry, and even efficiency, likewise, like Steph Curry not even having his best season, which might be the most surprising thing about how great they've been playing despite his inefficiency issues, which is still not horrible because he's still amazing. Then Draymond Green, like, yes, we knew when Curry was, like, injured in the past few years and Klay Thompson that Draymond isn't somebody that, like, carries your team, offensively speaking. But having him as that optimal Golden State Warrior system player, you know what I'm saying? It's like the system's there again, especially having Klay Thompson back. So, yeah, man, not surprised by that one in the least. I mean, the Warriors, like, if history says anything, we know what this team's all about. It ain't that different. Next up, we have Miles Bridges making an all-star case. Now, let me pull up on my phone real quick here, man. I don't know what the Hornets' exact record is, but last I checked, they were in like the mix for the playoffs, which is pretty good. All things considered with that roster. So right now, the Charlotte Hornets are currently in 8th place at 22-19. So I'm not surprised by Miles Bridges making an all-star case. What I am surprised by is Miles Bridges making an all-star case and it leading to, some wins out there, because that was the big kind of gripe last year was Miles Bridges was averaging like 25 points over the course of the last 10 games of last NBA season, and he was looking really good, but, at the same time, the Hornets weren't winning games. So being able to put that together now, it's big time. So yeah, good for him on that. Next up, we have the best lineup in basketball. Yes, really. So, okay, so this is saying the best 5 playing together: Patrick Beverley, D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, and Karl-Anthony Towns. On paper, yeah, you look at that team, it's listed right here if you guys can't see, man. On paper, that team actually does a lot of nice things. You got some primary ball handlers, but also guys that are completely capable of playing off ball, with D'Lo and Patrick Beverley. You have the defensive Patrick Beverley with, Jared Vanderbilt, who's a good two-way player. Karl-Anthony Towns, who is one of the best, offensive centers in the NBA. And then Edwards, what he's been doing. It is crazy that this is the best of the best lineup across all lineups. It says right here, out of 212 different lineups this season that played 35 minutes or more together. But also looking at, how these archetypes kind of work together, man, using some 2K, terminology right there. You can see why it works too, though. Like, that's like a team you build, like, if you're doing, like, a rebuild or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, good for the T-Wolves on that, man. Happy for him for having, some sort of positivity right there. All right, next we have freshman scoring. Yeah, this rookie draft class has been pretty damn good, man. They have been as good as advertised, in my opinion. I'm thinking about the top guys that have been drafted. I don't really have gripes against any of them. I will fully admit that at times, Cade and Jalen Green can have some efficiency issues. Like when they're looking bad, it's not great shooting wise, but when they're looking great, you can see the superstar potential, right? And beyond those guys, man, you got Franz Wagner on the screen in front of you. You have obviously Evan Mobley, who probably will get Rookie of the Year. Scotty Barnes. It's been great, man. Even like Chris Duarte was nice on the Pacers, and like Davion Mitchell. I haven't watched too much Kings basketball, but even like based off like his role and everything like that, it is interesting, man. It is very interesting if you really do think about just how many great rookies there have. It's like which one of these dudes is gonna fall off, right? Next up, we have Desmond Bane's power up. When this guy was drafted, number 30 in the 2020 draft, I went on to the record to say that he reminded me of Eric Gordon, man. I thought this guy actually should have been a lottery pick. Like Desmond Bane, just watching him selectively play a few games in college. Like I said, man, it's hard to keep up with every single prospect in college because there would be so many games to watch to consistently have knowledge of every single player. But Desmond Bane, like a 6'6" dude, has good athleticism, great three-point shot. Like you could just kind of saw it was going to work in the NBA. And a shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies for giving this man a chance here. I really did want him drafted in Detroit, especially like now he would have been perfect next to Cade Cunningham. But yeah, man. So yeah, shout out to him and the Grizzlies. You guys make some W choices between, Desmond, John Morant, Jaren Jackson over the years, Brandon Clark. It's like you guys have some great management over there. Next up, we have DeMar DeRozan joining the MVP race. So yeah, this one right here obviously was going back to what I said in the beginning of the video about free agent signings that people didn't think were going to work out to this extent, right? Now I'm on, the team of DeMar DeRozan, knowing very fully that he was a great player for the San Antonio Spurs, got a lot of hate. I think the interesting thing about him, though, is just like his style of play and everything like that, man, and how that style is in the MVP race. Because analytically speaking, and just how DeMar DeRozan plays game of basketball, he plays how DeMar should be playing it. But you would never think that a guy that relies heavily, just on the style that DeMar plays that would ever be in the MVP race ever again, because we are such like a 3-point heavy NBA and everything like that. But you combine DeMar and his ability to pick apart the defense and everything with the spacing of Lonzo and Zach LaVine and the playmaking capabilities, and those guys, their efficiency being able to take pressure off DeMar DeRozan to be able to do the thing in the isolation. Yeah, man, the Bulls have been it's just so much fun to watch. Like so much. I know like there's supposed to be like a rivalry between like the Pistons and Bulls, but bro, I was like, man, I was still eating baby food back when that was going on, so I don't really think too heavily about it. I'm rooting for the Bulls this season, man. It's a team I want to see win a championship in the Eastern Conference. Like, I just like this story a lot, so that's who I'm rooting for in the East, man. We got Warriors in the West and the Bulls in the East for me. All right, next up we have the big Cavs winning big. Yeah, that is a good point. Like, not only are they winning, but also how they're winning and the combination of lineups they're doing out there, man. And despite the injuries going out with this team, yet again, let me look up they're 23-18, which is 6th in the Eastern Conference, man. And I mean, you know, if you would have said at the beginning of the season that the Cavaliers were going to go into the season having an injured Colin Sexton, then yeah, people would have said, okay, this would be the worst team in the NBA. Like, not only are they winning, but also you got like Lauri Markkanen playing small forward and stuff. It's insane to watch. It's insane to think that Jarrett Allen is not the leading shot blocker on the Cavaliers. That's Evan Mobley. Like, come on now, man. Come on now. All right, and then finally we have the Bulls run to number 1. So not much to talk about this one. We already talked about that with DeMar DeRozan. You know, the TLDR on this is that the Bulls, you know, bringing in Vucevic and also last offseason with the free agent signings they made were the best, most realistic possible moves that could be made by an NBA team at that time. It wasn't a very deep free agent class. So, yeah, they went out there, man. They took the moves that other teams were kind of shy to pull back on, and it's working, man. Like, look at that team, man. That's a good basketball team right there. So, yeah, that's all we have for this video. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with this ranking right here? Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.